Welcome to the final sexual skill of level 3 of pillow play. In this one, it's all about playing with power. Now, I talk about this a lot on the worksheet for this game, so if you want the written down version, please go read it there. But I'll give you some top tips for playing with power, how to step into your more confident, dominant role in this game, and how to step into your more submissive, surrendered, and willing role in this game. So even if you don't define yourself as kinky, a lot of people find confidence really attractive. So even if you don't find surrendering control or taking control, and that language doesn't sit quite right for you erotically, you probably can get behind the idea of confidence and playfulness. And so regardless of whether you see yourself as kinky, this game is still a great way to practice stepping into a more sexually confident role. It's also a really fun game for body confidence, because as the muse, you have to trust that your partner finds your body beautiful. You are, after all, their muse. And if you want to, you can incorporate taking nudes and photography as part of this game as well. So it's really great for taking beautiful photos of each other and building that confidence in your body, confidence in the way that you move, and also practicing that power dynamic of one person being in that leader role and one person in that follow role. So I'll explain the rules of this game in the next video, but first let's just talk about some principles for how to step into that more confident role and some principles for how to step into that more surrendered role, so you can have a play with both. So in the more confident role, think about at first what makes you feel really confident. So take some time to dress in a way that makes you feel strong and confident and sexy and powerful. So it might be certain lingerie or underwear or clothing that makes you feel really good. And also do some like power poses beforehand. Body language is so important. So rather than in this game, giving the direction in a really sort of small, hunched up body language, practice like opening up your chest and putting your shoulders back and putting your strength in your eye contact and planting your feet on the floor. You might even want to walk around a little bit like that in a sort of slow, considered way to help you step into that more powerful frame of mind and body. It's also really useful to take your time, so slow down. Don't rush. When we're nervous, we often talk really quickly or want to rush ahead. The slower you go with this game, the more presence and gravitas and confidence will come across. And remember what we talked about in Like That But Sexier, it's not half about what you say, but the way you say it. So slow, deliberate instructions with presence will really land really beautifully in this game. If it helps, you can also use a blindfold. If you're new to stepping into this sort of role, I recommend it, because again, it means that you have to think about one less thing, right? When they can't see you, all you have to think about is the delivery of your words rather than what you're doing with your body. It's also a really nice way to start this game or any scene where you're playing with power, because you can go and you can put that blindfold on your muse in a way that feels, powerful and assertive and connected. As the muse in this game, when you're wanting to be more surrendered and submissive or not take the lead as much during sex, some tips that will help you do that, similar to the confident side, is also take some time to think about what makes you feel sexy, that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel beautiful, because it's much easier to surrender as the muse in this game when you feel really comfortable in your own skin and happy in your body. So again, put on lingerie or underwear or clothing that makes you feel comfortable and sexy and safe and at ease. Also, perhaps move your body beforehand. Do something that helps you drop into your body and calm your busy brain, and do something that helps you both feel connected beforehand. This will mean that when it is time to play the game, you can just allow your mind to be still, to be quiet, and enjoy the surrender of not having to think, of not having to plan the scene. All you have to do in this game is to follow the instructions. And so practice that sort of mindfulness of allowing yourself just to slow down and to be present. And you can use your breathing as well to keep that slow, relaxed frame of mind and body. big, slow, circular breaths down and into the belly with a nice long exhale. And it can be helpful to think about, how desired your body is by your artist in this moment, and how you're being such a good muse by doing what they tell you to do. As always, don't forget your safe words, your traffic light system. Your green means everything is great, this is really fun. Orange is I'm getting to the edge of my comfort zone and I might need to talk about that and check in. And red means I feel uncomfortable, I need this to stop. Remember, we might be able to go into these games thinking it's really fun, and then something takes us by surprise and it becomes an orange or a red. And that's why the debrief is so important, to work out, all right, what do we each need to come back to green and to come back to connection, and what do we think might have happened there, and how could we do it differently? That's why we play these games, so we can discover more about ourselves and each other. If all of this already sounds really fun for you and you're like, yes, I want to go and step into my more dominant role or my more submissive role and play with all of this energy in this game, you might also be curious about bringing in some bondage, some light bondage, either through a ribbon, which Dave and I demonstrate with a ribbon around the hands, or some other form of bondage like a light rope or handcuffs. Can be a beautiful way of adding even more of that power dynamic into this game. With bondage, just making sure that safety is important. So we're not wanting to cut off any blood flow. So make sure that the ties are comfortable, can be released quickly and easily if needed. If you haven't used rope or ribbon or anything like that before, always have really sharp scissors on hand in case you need them, but don't try any overcomplicated knots. If this is your first time, safety is first and foremost most important. And if you enjoy the sensation of bondage, perhaps looking to buy some great quality leather cuffs or something that you can use again in the future. And finally, if you do want to play with photography in this game, this is also another really fun part of the erotic playground that we have to work with. So I wanted to bring it into one of the games, and this is a really perfect one because obviously you have the artist who is controlling the scene and the vision that is in front of them, and you have the muse who is posing deliciously for that artist's pleasure. So it makes sense to bring in some photography here if it feels fun to do so for you guys. So some tips for making sure it is as flattering and as beautiful as possible is really, when it comes to photography, the most important thing is lighting. So you might want to light some candles to make the lighting soft and sensual. And my top tip is having a lamp that's quite bright, but then putting a sheet over the top of it, a warm colored sheet, really throws off that warm lighting and gives beautiful shadows to the curves of the body. You don't want a bright overhead white light. It's not going to give you that erotic image that you want, and you don't want it to be too dark either because you won't be able to see your muse. So getting the lighting right before playing this game will really be worth it if you're wanting to take some beautiful photos out of it as well. And it's great for body confidence as well, because when you see those nudes, when you see what your body looks like, you can see yourself through the eyes of your artist, through the lens of your artist, which is pretty empowering and very connective.